Tenpai Dragon is an archetype of fire dragon monsters. It is related to the Sangen archetype. In terms of its playing style, they're centered around quick synchro OTK combos and being able to attack on the first turn. Starting with Tenpai Dragon Chandra, the ideal would be to have Tenpai Dragon Chandra along with Tenpai Dragon Pydra, summon Pydra, add Sangen Kaiho, special summon Chandra, then proceed to battle phase where you attack triggering Chandra's effect to summon Tenpai Dragon Phaedra from the deck. Next you use Pydra as a quick effect to synchro Sengenpai by Dragon. Dragon will summon Chandra from the graveyard. Proceed to attack further with Dragon triggering Phaedra, summoning Pydra from your graveyard. Continue attacking with Chandra and Pydra and Phaedra. Then use Chandra to synchro a second Sengenpai by Dragon, which summons Chandra from the graveyard. Attack with them both. Then use Phaedra to synchro summon a third Sengenpai by Dragon, summoning any of the 3 Tenpai dragons from your graveyard. Proceed to attack further, then use Sangen Kaiho during the battle phase to grab another Tenpai dragon from the deck, then summon it. Tenpai Dragon Chandra is a fire attribute dragon type tuner effect monster. It's a level 4 with 1500 attack and 1000 defense. Once returned during the battle phase, you can, as a quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using the card you control. You can only use each of the following effects of Tenpai Dragon Chandra once per turn. If you control a fire dragon monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. At the start of the damage step, if a monster battles, you can special summon one level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck, except Tenpai Dragon Chandra. Okay, so with this card, it's very useful as it is a tuner monster and it allows you to special summon into various cards. As soon as you hit the battle phase, you're able to instantly synchro summon at that point. And given that there are cards within the deck which allow you and your monsters to be protected, especially the fire attribute dragon types, from any effects both at the main phase and the battle phase, this provides you with a level of protection. If you have a fire dragon monster, you're instantly able to special summon this card from your hand, so you're not wasting your normal summon. And at the start of the damage step, if a monster battles, you can instantly special summon a level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck, allowing you to go into a synchro for a synchro level 8. This provides a lot of flexibility as the deck, and it does provide you with a lot of utility. I'd say the more fire attribute dragon monsters you can have, the more powerful this deck is going to become. Tenpai Dragon Phaedra is a fire attribute dragon type level 3 with 1600 attack and 1000 attack. If this card is normal or special summoned, or at the start of the damage step, if a monster battles, you can target one level 4 or lower fire dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Tenpai Dragon Phaedra once per turn. Your fire dragon monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn during the battle phase, you can, as a quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. As soon as this card is normal or special summoned, or at the beginning of the damage step, provided in monster battles, you can just choose a level 4 or lower fire dragon monster in the graveyard. It gets to instantly be special, so it does have some revival to it. This effect can only be used once per turn, so it is a restriction, but your fire dragon monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, so it does provide you with some level of protection. And as soon as the battle phase hits, you can instantly use this as part of a synchro summon for a monster. And it doesn't have to be restricted to any specific typings or attributes. Tenpai Dragon Genroku is a fire attribute dragon type level 3 with 0 attack and 1000 defense. If this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon this card as a tuner. Then you can increase its level by 1. You can tribute this card, special summon one Tenpai Dragon monster from your deck except Tenpai Dragon Genroku. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except dragon monsters. You can only use each effect of Tenpai Dragon Genroku once per turn. This is having a similar effect the Snake Eyes Poplar. As soon as this is added to the hand, except during its initial draw, you can straight away just special summon this card, and it becomes instantly a tuner. It can then adjust its level up to 1, so it can become from a level 3 to a level 4, and by attributing this card, you can just special summon a Tenpai Dragon monster from the deck, and it can be anything outside of itself. It does restrict you into the turn for any additional special summons outside of dragon-type monsters, though that's fine as you can pretty much go into most types of cards, and there's a lot of support within the dragon typing. Tenpai Dragon Pydra is a fire attribute dragon type level 3 with 1700 attack and 1000 defense. The effect is if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add to your hand or set one Sangen spell trap card from your deck. You can only use this effect of Tenpai Dragon Pydra once per turn. You take no battle damage from battles involving your fire dragon monsters. Once per turn during the battle phase, you can, as a quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. With this card, as soon as it's either normal or special summoned, you can just add a Sangen spell or trap card from the deck, so it can be pretty much anything outside a monster, and that's fine. Your monsters don't take any damage from any sort of battles, provided they're fire attribute dragon type monsters, so that's nice. You compare this with the other one that happens, I think it's the Phaedra, which protects your monsters from being destroyed by battle to provide strengthening protection, as it means even if you've got weaker monsters on the field, your opponent isn't going to be inclined to attack into those monsters. There's pretty much no point. And this also has the ability to let you synchro summon using this card on the same turn during the battle phase. Sangen Kaiho is a normal trap card. During the main phase, if all monsters you control are fire dragon monsters, minimum 1, and your opponent controls more monsters than you do, end the main phase. If 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, draw 1 card. Then you can special summon any number of Tenpai dragon monsters from your hand. You can only use each effect of Sangen Kaiho once per turn. The first part of the effect, if all the monsters you control are fire dragon monsters, at least 1, and your opponent controls more monsters than you get to straight away end the main phase. This is good as this can prevent your opponent from doing much of anything. They cannot go into any of their Link, Xyz or extra deck plays, and it just forces either them to go into the battle phase, as that's a way of forcing them to go into main phase 2. Really, they can't do anything in the battle phase if they've got weak monsters, and provided 3 or more attacks have been declared during the turn, so this can be better suited to when you're attacking into your opponent. By banishing this card from the graveyard, you get to just additionally draw a card and special summon any number of Tenpai dragon monsters from your hand. This is a way of flooding your field and making it difficult for your opponent to respond. Sangen Summoning is a field spell card. Its effect is, during the main phase 1, fire dragon monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. During the main phase, you can add 1 Tenpai dragon monster from your deck to your hand, then discard 1 card. You can only use this effect of Sangen Summoning once per turn. If this card is destroyed during the battle phase, you can target 1 dragon synchro monster you control, double its attack. So with the first part of the effect, your fire dragon monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. That's good during the main phase, as it does provide you with significant amounts of protection, and you are able to search for a Tenpai dragon monster from the deck to hand by a discard cost. So you're trading 1 card for another. The discard might not be so much of a problem, as whatever you tend to discard, you're able to use its effect from the graveyard to do something. This effect can only be used once during the turn, but that's fine, and if this card happens to be destroyed during the battle phase, you're able to just choose a dragon synchro monster, and its attack becomes doubled, so you can do far more damage to the opponent. Dora Dora is a fire attribute dragon type level 3 with 400 attack and 200 defense. If this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Dora Dora once per turn. Once per turn during the main phase, you can activate the top card of your deck, and if it is a fire dragon monster, send it to the graveyard. And if you do, this card gains 1000 attack for each Dora Dora you control. Otherwise, place the activated card on the bottom of your deck. As soon as this card is normal summoned, you're able to just search for a level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck to your hand, so that can be any of the Tenpai monsters. Most of them actually meet this condition. Once during a turn, you're able to just activate the top card of your deck. If it happens to be a fire dragon monster, it gets sent to the graveyard. This card gains 1000 attack, provided for each copy you control. So if you had all 3 copies on the field, this could become a 3400 attack monster. But it's limited to a once per turn effect, and so you are relying on quite a lot to get this to a decent level of attack points. It's more useful for its searching ability. Otherwise, the excavated card goes to the bottom of the deck, which makes it more difficult for you to recover. Poke Draco is a fire attribute dragon type level 3 with 200 attack and 100 defense. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 Poke Draco from your deck to your hand. This is a very weak card, and it's marginally used, within Tenpais. It's loosely based on them, because it's a fire attribute and it's a dragon type, and it also meets the level 3 requirements. Most of them are either level 3 or level 4. As soon as this is normal summoned, you're just searching for another copy of itself. It really doesn't have much use. Arguably, it's 1 card you could probably forget within the deck. Sangen Kaimen is a quick play spell card. The effect is to apply 1 of these effects, or if you activated this card during the battle phase, you can apply any of them in sequence. Add one level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from your deck to your hand, or special summon one fire dragon monster from your hand. You can only activate one Sangen Kaimen per turn. This card incentivizes you to activate it during the battle phase, as you can apply both effects rather than just one. First effect just lets you search for a level 4 or lower fire dragon monster from the deck to your hand. Second ability lets you special summon a fire dragon monster from your hand. Arguably, since this can be activated in sequence, you can search for a particular dragon type monster, and that card can also be special summoned during that battle phase. Sangen Furo is a continuous spell card. Once per turn, when a monster is destroyed by battle involving your fire dragon monster, you can target one of those destroyed monsters, special summon it to your field in defense position. During your opponent's end phase, you can pay 1000 life points, then target one Sangen spell or trap card in your graveyard, set it, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of the Sangen Furo once per turn. This is a continuous spell card, but bear in mind that it's still got the Japanese writing, so I don't think it's got its initial release for a little bit of time for the time being. When a monster happens to be destroyed by battle by one of your fire dragon monsters, you're able to revive that destroyed monster to your field in defense position. During the opponent's end phase, you're also able to pay 1000 life points and target a Sangen spell or trap card in the graveyard and set it. That's useful as it does have more utility, but it does get banished when it leaves the field, so it can be when you've actually activated it, or if your opponent then chooses to go after that card by one of their spell or trap destruction based effects. First ability also just lets you steal your opponent's monsters is great because those cards don't have their effects negated. They simply have to be summoned into defense position, so you can't actually go into, more damage dealt by those monsters in the turn. But you can use it for any of the extra deck plays or as a cost for some other card that you acquire. Tenpai Bident Dragon is a fire attribute dragon type synchro effect monster. It's level 7 with 2600 attack and 2000 defense. It requires a dragon tuner and one or more non-tuner dragon monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target one fire dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except dragon monsters. If 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Then you can destroy one spell or trap card on the field. You can only use this effect of Tenpai Bident Dragon once per duel, and its previous effect only once per turn. Summoning on this isn't too difficult as it just needs a dragon tuner and one non-tuner dragon monster. That's fine. As soon as it's synchro summoned, you're able to take a fire dragon monster in the graveyard, it gets recovered to your field, but you're restricted from special summoning for the rest of the turn except for dragon type monsters. Provided 3 or more attacks have been declared during the turn, as a quick effect you can just special summon this card from the graveyard so it does have its own recovery, and then you can choose to destroy a spell or trap card on the field, be it your own or your opponent's. That part of the effect is only a once per duel effect as it is too powerful to be reliant on entirely, but I would also understand why its previous effect is also restricted to only once during the turn, as it's a way of recovering too much advantage. Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon is a fire attribute dragon type level 10 synchro monster with 3000 attack and 3000 defense. It requires a dragon tuner and one or more non-tuner dragon monsters. All monsters your opponent controls must attack, if able. All monsters your opponent controls must attack, if able. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the battle phase. If this card is synchro summoned, you can change all monsters on the field to attack position. If 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn, as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, then you can destroy one card on the field. You can only use this effect of Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon once per duel. Summoning on this will require pretty much 3 cards, as I think you've got level 3 and level 4 monsters, so you'll either need a combination of a level 3 tuner and a level 3 non-tuner and a level 4 non-tuner monster, or you could have a level 4 tuner and 2 level 3 non-tuner monsters. Any way you think of it, it requires 3 materials. All monsters your opponent controls must attack, so it does force attacks on the particular battle phase, but that's provided all of your opponent's monsters happen to be in attack position to do that. They're more likely to try and switch their monsters into defense position, so you're going to have to be running cards which force attacks such as Staunch Defender and Battle Mania. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during a battle phase, so this does provide you with a level of protection during that particular phase. And if this card happens to be synchro summoned, you can force all monsters on the field to attack position. Provided 3 or more attacks have been declared this turn, and that can be either you or your opponent. You can then choose to special summon this card from your graveyard, so it does have some revival, and then destroy a card on the field. It can be a spell, a trap, or a monster, and it can be either yours or your opponent's side. This effect is only a once per duel effect, as that is far too powerful, and I can understand why the archetype has thoughts of being limited when it reaches Master Duel, but I don't think it's going to be there that easily, and I don't think it's going to be there that readily. I think upon instant release, it will be filtered out for its power level.